Oh, look at the time. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Yeah. Welcome in to 615 Preps Live, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. We get you ready for week number 6 around the Nashville area in high school football. And look who's back off his secret probation.
Welcome back, KJ.
This is what happens when you turn your picks in time. You get back on the show.
For what it's worth, Isaac did get his picks in this week. He's just got other obligations. So
yes, Isaac's had other obligations for several.
Isaac and Tyson.
You're going to see him, but you're going to see him a little later on, and trust me, it's worth it. All right, gentlemen, we have completed 5 weeks of the regular season. We're kind of right at the midpoint of the regular season, and we'll talk about some teams to watch for the second half a little bit later on, but let's kind of take a step back for a second and kind of discuss for a minute what you've thought about the first 5 weeks so far, and you know what's jumped off the page at you. Joe, I'll let you start it.
We got a lot of really good teams, guys. Like, we got a lot of teams that realistically could compete for gold in December, in almost every class, which is not usually the case that we have, right? Like 1A, we're usually saying, well, this team could maybe get there. Gordonsville looks like a team that could get there. 2A, East Robinson's a little, they're hit or miss with the injury to Isaiah Groves, but Westmoreland looks really good. East Nashville gets a really big test this week. 4A, Pearl Cone is still Pearl Cone. 5A, Page and Beach look the part. Page really looks the part. And 6A, I mean, we got a plethora of teams there. And then obviously the D2 schools. So a lot of really good football. We got a lot of players playing like Mr. Football candidates as well. So really good first half of the season.
Scott, let's hear your thoughts from West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Really what has really surprised me, and perhaps it shouldn't, is the amount of good quarterback play that's been out there this year. I mean, we know that, we have the George McIntyres and Jared Curtises that were, that, everybody knew about, but, certain ones have stepped up. Cason Young, East Robertson, we've seen Cannon Burrows step up, Taylor Hasselbeck now on the scene. We've really seen a lot of good quarterback play, and some of these teams that the injuries that they've had have really had to have it.
Cam?
Yeah, I mean, Joe kind of hit on it a little bit. I think overall the defense in the area, and that results in a lot of lopsided games. It also results in some good, tight, low-scoring games. But the amount of talent, Scott mentioned quarterbacks, but I mean the overall talent in our state, and especially the mid-state, maybe as high as it's ever been. I mean, it's really fun. It's hard to find a game now where there's not a kid being recruited to go play college football. So I mean that's saying something about the talent level in the area and the growth in the area, and we're lucky enough to get to bring the coverage to you.
All right, KJ, you're up.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Cam, like I've been seeing defensives grow these first 5 weeks. That's ultimately what the first half of the season is for. And then you get to the middle part of the season and you're playing a lot of region games and trying to get those playoff spots secured. So seeing the growth from week 1 into now, really impressive with all the teams that we cover.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff so far. Obviously, we get into this week, and kind of the big story is, again, games getting moved because of weather. Hurricane Helene is approaching and could have a big impact on both Thursday and Friday night games. So we've had some games that have been moved up to Thursday already, at least a half dozen in our area, potentially more.
I think this is a little bit different than a couple of weeks ago, though. I think this is more of a guarantee. It's just a matter of pick your poison, kind of.
Yeah, the first feared a little bit missed.
I was watching a guy on YouTube earlier, Ryan Hall. He does a really good job. I watch him a lot, and he was talking about how in Nashville we could get tropical depression type winds here on Friday night. So that'll be fun. It's going to be a blast. I'm so excited. Thank God I'm going to be at a game that has
and it's going to be raining. So umbrella, we were talking before the show where all of us are going to take umbrellas to the game. Umbrella might not help you if it's coming in from the side.
It might not. It might not. So And I understand like wanting to keep playing on Friday, but this one might be a little bit too much.
It wouldn't surprise me to see some games move to Saturday if it's that bad, but I think they'll try to avoid that if at all possible.
Well, some in the Chattanooga area have done that. They have moved to Saturday. In fact, actually,
Have they?
one of our area teams is playing in those Saturday games. Innovation Academy out of Springfield's going down to South Pittsburgh. They moved to Saturday night
Oh, okay.
because it seems like the worst of the storm may be farther, far enough north by that point that they feel like they can get it in. Now, South Pittsburgh's grass, so I don't know. Hopefully, it drains well.
It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be fun. I'm so excited. Yay!
My boo.
Well, let's talk about where we're going to be Friday. Joe, you'll be over at East Nashville.
Yeah, I'm excited. 2 undefeated teams, East Nashville, FRA. Kind of 2 different stories to those teams right now. East Nashville got a scare last week from Liberty Creek, playing without KJ Johnson. He's a little banged up. Hopefully, hope to see him back this week. He's a real Mr. Football contender when he's on the field. He's that good. And FRA, FRA looks really good. They've dominated teams. No Ty Clark, and no Bobby Council, but they have not had a game closer than 20 points all season. The closest game they've had was Franklin. They won that game 27-7. So it's a huge test for East Nashville to see where they're at. FRA is looking like a real factor in that region that's kind of loaded with BGA and CPA. Also, Kirkwood, just literally saw the tweet. Kirkwood and Rossview have been moved to Thursday night at 7 p.m. So there's another one.
Yep, literally breaking news here on this show. So fun stuff. Cam, you've got a good one Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's a rivalry game that the gentleman right here might know a little bit about. It may actually be a physical island come Friday night if they do wind up playing on Friday. But I'll be at Shackle Island to see the Buccaneers of Beach and the Hendersonville Commandos. So super excited. Hendersonville's Joe, you mentioned teams kind of going in opposite directions. I kind of think that maybe not that they're going in opposite directions, but we thought Beach would be really excelling up to this point, and they've kind of been – they're 4-1, but they've kind of been lackluster compared to what most people thought they could be. And then Hendersonville, lost Mason Baker, and here comes the Riley and Cooper Jordan in, and they're 4-1. So big game, big region game, especially early on, and the winner is going to set themselves up to finish in the top half of the region and get a home playoff game. So.
Yeah, and I'll be over at Antioch for what's essentially a region semifinal between Stewart's Creek and the Antioch Bears. Winner has the inside track to winning that region, but Smyrna's still in play as well. Loser will have to fight for second place there, and ought to be a good one over there at Antioch. Be the second time I've got to see Andre Adams and their bunch this year, and excited to see Stewart's Creek as well because they've done some good things in the first half too.
Kind of a cool little storyline there. The quarterbacks are cousins, so that's pretty neat. Those teams played a really good game last year too, so that should be fun. Hope you bring your water boots, Chris.
Well, as you saw a couple weeks ago, I'm prepared for the rain. I just don't want it. I just don't want it.
This man showed up to Laverne unbelievably prepared.
Hey.
It was, he needed it. It was just windy, though, so we're not. Yeah,
we were fortunate that week.
We ain't going to be fortunate this week.
No.
Well, I'll be watching you guys from afar and trying to man the data center. I am hoping I can get Ryan Hall, video boards up.
This is the 1 week that we all wish we were at the house watching all the games.
Yeah. No, I love rain.
Guys.
I love rain games.
Trust me, guys. I wish I was there, even with the rain.
Coaches,
I do.
Y'all want to just go ahead and move up to Thursday? That'd be great. Be a great bus. Anyway, let's talk some rankings. Let's start with small class. A little bit of movement this week.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Gordonsville's loss kind of drops them down because Westmoreland's really hot right now. Nashville Christian, they're hot too. But the two undefeated teams still at the top. East Nashville got a scare from a Liberty Creek team that'll likely finish second in that region, it looks like, with the way they beat Stratford a couple weeks ago. East Robertson, they're looking real good, setting up a huge matchup with Westmoreland. That's next week, right?
Yes.
That's one Cam will be at next week. Spoilers. But yeah, no, that's a huge game, and for the most part, I mean, I foresee these rankings changing quite a bit the next couple of weeks, just the way teams are playing.
Let's go on to medium class, where it's still the top two beasts are still there.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be there as long as they keep winning. It's simple as that. You could argue that they deserve to be flipped, which, maybe CPA's played a brutal schedule and they're undefeated. Page hasn't let up a point, though. I don't care who they've played. They still not let up a point. FRA joins the mix. FRA looks really good right now. BGA drops down to that 6th spot, though, and they got a huge matchup coming up in the next few weeks as well. So,
see what large class looks like, and Green Hill joins the mix this week.
Yeah, well, Green Hill was in there last week. I had him in there. Antioch was 5. And Oakland beat them. But, yeah, Green Hill's right there. Antioch, Riverdale, Stewart's Creek, right there at the 6, 7, 8 spot probably. But the big change here is Ravenwood at 1. Yes, Oakland won. They didn't win pretty. They should have lost if we're being real. They really did not they did what they needed to win that game, but man, they got lucky.
Yeah.
Ravenwood beat that same Blackman team 14-7, but they never trailed in that game. So if we're going off head-to-head matchups, Ravenwood's got the edge right now. But we'll learn who the better of these two teams is in Week 10.
Right. Yep.
About a month away from a huge matchup there. Let's keep going. Let's name a player of the week, shall we? Finalists for our Sellers Funeral Homes Player of the Week. You just saw a picture of the young man who tops the list, Caden Burrows from Green Hill. 14 carries, 190 yards, and 4 touchdowns for him on the ground. He threw for 2 others in that 52-28 win over Lebanon. Just an absolute dominant performance for him. Owen Cabell from CPA, 216 yards receiving on 9 catches and 3 scores in that Thursday night win over BGA. East Robertson's Luis Martinez, 214 yards rushing and 3 scores on 25 carries. Xavier Murray, White House Heritage, he's on this list almost every week, it seems. 23 of 30 passing, 273 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Patriots beat Forest 35-31. Malachi Tellin from Riverdale, 15 of 24 passing, 243 yards, 5 touchdowns, ran 3 times for 26 yards, another score in their big win at Rockvale. It's overwhelmingly Caden Burrows' week, though, guys. But KJ, I'll let you defend your pick of Xavier Murray.
So, we talked about quarterbacks in this area, and Xavier Murray, like you said, has been on here almost every week. 75% passing for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is an impressive performance for me.
Tyson, who's not on the show, went with Owen Cabell, and the rest of us picked Caden Burrows. So, guys, any one of y'all want to talk about why you picked Cannon? Let's go ahead.
For me, it came down to Cannon and Owen. Chris, you saw them both in person last week, so I'm jealous of you for that. But Cannon, he's taking his game to another level, and they needed all of that last week. It was 28-28 at halftime, and Green Hill ends up winning 52-28. Thanks to his legs, really. He's a different player this year.
It really wasn't just the touchdowns but every time Lebanon would get a score or a big play, Cannon Burrows would get it back the next possession. And it was long runs that he didn't score on that would set up other scores. I mean, they absolutely, as Joe said, he absolutely had to ball out to keep Green Hill ahead.
Yeah, Lebanon had no answer for him. I do want to give a special shout out to Luis Martinez from East Robertson. Guys, unforeseen circumstances for the Indians last week is 5 players were forced to sit last week. Luis Martinez is come into the season as a third-string running back, and he just went for 200 yards. So it's a great performance from him. It just shows how deep that Indians team is.
Yeah, it is. It's a great great performance in a tough spot there for him. But it's 6 out of 8 this week for Cannon Burrows from Green Hill. He's our player of the week, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. So congratulations to him. And his line is up for line of the week, also presented by Sellers Funeral Homes, as that Green Hill. And that's actually should be Green Hill offense, not Green Hill defense. They had 475 yards of offense, 342 in the ground, 133 passing. East Robertson's offense, as we just mentioned, 415 yards in the ground, 88 passing. FRA's defense, 151-0. They held Northwest to 73 yards and recovered 5 fumbles. Gallatin's defense, that shutout win, 65-0 over Warren County, 26 yards allowed, 2 sacks. Nashville Christian's defense, 58-0 win at Mount Juliet Christian, 59 total yards allowed. Watertown's defense, 20-3 over Cascade, allowed only 45 yards. And the fans have voted, and the fans are overwhelmingly going with Green Hill. 43.9% of the vote going for the Hawks.
That's the third time this year as a team sweep of both, isn't it, Chris?
Yes.
It's third. I believe so. Yeah. So
Macon
congratulations
County,
to the Hawks.
Macon County, Oakland, and now Green Hill.
Yeah. Hadn't happened for a couple of weeks, but it's the third time it's happened. So congratulations for pulling that one in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, Chris. I was just going to say, I know that Paige hasn't allowed a point. Unfortunately, we get some good offensive stats from Paige, but we don't get any good defensive stats from Paige. So it's kind of hard to gauge a performance there, other than the fact that they didn't allow any points.
That's the one that matters the most, though, when it comes down to it. So,
right,
and they know it, and there's no real nothing there. So, congratulations to Cannon Burrows and the Green Hill offense, sweeping our awards for the week for Week 5, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. And let's hear from those fine folks right now.
Doing something nice for someone, what a great idea, and Judge Sellers, owner of the Sellers Funeral Home family, is doing just that. The Sellers Funeral Home family, made up of 8 different locations, is proud to sponsor high school athletics throughout the Middle Tennessee area, giving back to the communities that have been so kind to us. That's the Sellers way. Thank you, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, and definitely appreciative of having Sellers Funeral Homes as a partner this year, and they've been very kind to offer their support for us as well. So thanks to them, we're able to bring the show to you live. Let's talk second half. Now, we mentioned a little bit of the first half. Let's talk second half and some teams to watch for the next 5 weeks or so. Most everybody will have their open date within the next 5 weeks as well. So some are going to get some needed rest. Let's talk about who, maybe besides the usual suspects, are teams we should watch.
It's a good question.
I think the first one that comes to mind to me, we talked about them being on a heater, but Westmoreland. I mean, a team that historically has been a really good defensive team, but has always struggled to score. And they've been putting up points this year, which is unusual for them. But if you're on that schedule coming up for Westmoreland, it makes you a little bit more worried about the Eagles. Instead of just saying, well, we're going to have to score 14 to try to win, you may have to score 28 to win. So and that's a big feat against a Westmoreland defense. So I think they're the first one that comes to mind to me. And then how that region with Macon and Upperman and White County and DeKalb County. DeKalb County is 5-0, but they've not played anybody in the region yet. Jordan Barker's the real deal. I got to see him on Friday night, but are they good enough to challenge Macon or challenge, Upperman? We'll find out, and we'll find out very soon.
I'll go to the region that KJ is really familiar with, and the team I right now tentatively going to go see tomorrow night, Springfield. It's going to be really interesting to see where they finish in that region. Got a really close loss to Henry County. They got a huge game tomorrow night against Portland. Can kind of establish themselves as a playoff team if they pick up the win there. Still massive matchups with Beach and Hendersonville on the horizon. They've turned things around. They've been really impressive. They played a lot of close games so far this year. That was not the case last year. They were in a rebuild last year. This year, it seems like those young guys have really stepped up. So I'm interested to see how they pan out and just kind of how that region pans out. Because right now, I mean, if Page wins tomorrow, they're kind of the front runners going into that. Them in Henry County, and they got to go to Henry County this year. So Springfield's in a really good spot.
Team I'm looking at going forward is Blackney. I think that they came within just a hair of pulling. Probably would have been the biggest upset of the year last week. And they still have some decent games out in front of them right now. Yeah, they're 0-1 in region, but they still have Siegel, Riverdale, and Rockvale and Coffee County to go through. They're playing really good ball right now, playing really good defense. And if they get on a roll, they could challenge for that second spot if they can put it together against Riverdale and run this region.
I'm going to contrast Joe a little bit. I'm going to go with Portland. I do think that they're a lot more physical this year, and I feel like in that region, that's what you have to be. I think they can they can play Springfield this week and prove that they are a top 4 team that deserves to be in the playoff this week. So
it's a big one tomorrow night. It really is. I mean, that's for a playoff spot. I mean, you win that, you're basically in the playoff. Springfield's got a really good shot at potentially still securing the top 2 spot, especially if they go and beat Beach later in the year.
Yep. I'm going to talk about one that we've mentioned several times in the first half of the season. That's White House Heritage. Offensively, they've got a lot of firepower. They're going to get in some high-scoring games, but they've shown that they can win them already. They beat an unbeaten Forest team last week, and the Patriots are going to be in that position where East Nashville may have to go through them on the way to another state championship game appearance. So that's a team to look out for in the second half of the season to see where their seeding winds up at, because it could be a second-round matchup. It could be a third-round matchup. Just never know.
Points galore in that game.
For sure. Let's see. Yeah, we were aware of the Dixon County game getting moved to Thursday as well. So, yeah.
I'm kind of shocked more games just haven't been moved yet, to be honest with you. I was fully expecting 20 at this point.
Yeah.
One time, I think it was the Gallatin and Beach game my sophomore year, for the region championship. It didn't get moved up until like the morning of. So,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to catch more games getting moved up last minute.
A lot of those administrators are, playing the wait and see game. They may be playing the wait and see game to see how bad this is going to get.
Not good. Not good at all.
The ones that haven't waited have put themselves a bit of an advantage, I think. And
I think if you're on turf, I mean, it's hard because I think if you're on turf and there's no lightning, which they're not saying thunderstorms, they're just saying rain
and wind.
And wind.
Yeah,
you can. I mean, you can attest to this. You can play rain and wind.
I'm just going to say this. I would think that there's a pretty good chance that we'll see a handful, 5 to 10 games decided by 2-point conversion or extra point this week.
Yeah. Mind you, our predictions were made before we knew just how bad Helene was going to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pay no mind. Just pay attention to who we've got winning and not necessarily the score this week.
Yeah. If you see any of us that have 40 as a score, that's probably not happening.
We're dumb. We don't know what to talk about.
Here's a good question from our friend Christian Cavosi. Do you think the rain 2 weeks ago falling through has teams hesitant move this time around? 100%.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
100%, because I mean they feel like they're crying wolf at this point. And I've seen this story happen where was supposed to be bad Friday to move up to Thursday, and then Thursday it gets worse.
And one thing that we're not thinking about it, we wouldn't really know for sure, but it's a question to be raised. Do you think there will be a limit on the amount of games that can move up to Thursday because of officials?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got that shortage that, and it's part of the reason there are Thursday games in the first place.
Well, it really, not to play Willard Scott here, but I mean, we don't really know where this one's going to go 100% yet. I know Ryan Hall's got 2 tracks. One's going through Central Florida, and the other one's going straight up the Mississippi. So I think some of them are waiting to see what happens there as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not already following them on Twitter, Nash Severe Weather is a great resource. They're one of the best around. The latest thing I saw from them is it's going to hit us straight on. I mean, it's literally going to go straight through us and all the way up through Indiana. So it's going to be, it's going to be fun. I'm so excited.
For our viewers in Alabama, it will also hit in Alabama.
I was going to say, KJ, it's going to be a little stronger when it gets to your area. So you watch out.
I mean, the fact that there are hurricane warnings in central Georgia is crazy.
Insane.
Well, here's one for you. The Braves game got moved tonight. It ain't even there yet. So, I mean,
University,
they wanted the Mets to be able to get out of town for their Milwaukee series this weekend.
University of Georgia closed their campus the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Heritage of Sycamore moved to tomorrow. Could still see some more moving tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
No reason not to.
Well, I do know that Norcross High School actually went to home schooling from home tomorrow and possibly the next day. So, state of Georgia is seeing it, and they're shutting schools down. So, we'll see how that goes.
Been a minute since we had a hurricane like this. So,
yeah.
Yep. Guess what time it is, Fogg? Time to apologize. Who should we go with first? I'm going to go with the one who wasn't here last week, KJ. I'm going to let you lead this one off this time and do your worst.
Did a lot of bad decisions last week. A lot of terrible decisions that I will take back and do better. But there was one team that I really had to apologize to, and it was hard for me to pick against. But DeKalb County, I'm sorry. It comes from here.
you just let it linger on him.
Let that marinate for a bit. Really?
As your 2023 reigning Pick'em champ, I didn't get a lot wrong last year, and so far this year I didn't get a lot wrong either. And I just want you guys to all know there's a conspiracy afoot, and this is because of the man who currently leads me by 2 games. On our pick sheet, it said I picked Lebanon. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. It was not my fault. I had picked Green Hill. I'd like it to be known that Chris Brooks is a cheater and put on there that I picked Lebanon, which is not true. It's not my fault. I don't make bad picks. This is your fault, Chris. I'm coming for you. It's happening. Watch out.
I'm going to make him wait.
My cat's about to fall off the TV. You got to move on from me.
Only for that reason, I'm going to let you off the hook for that.
Get out.
Now, I know good and damn well screenshots never lie.
Yeah, they do.
Ooh.
Never.
I'd like it to be known that I made my picks. The sheet didn't save, and then I had to go back and I went through, and all of a sudden it says I said Lebanon. Now he's up by 2 games. He's a cheater. He's a fraud. I'm after you.
Blame technology when it's always human error.
I mean, for what it's worth, Chris, it's down to me and you at the moment. Cam's just kind of lurking.
Dude, I have the same record you got. What are you talking about?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You're 2 games behind me. Good try, though.
We'll see after this week.
I like how you turned really quick. All right, Cam, I'm going to let you go next just for that.
Well, I know I said on the scoreboard show that I would be apologizing to Father Irish, but the great Scott Burton will take that pleasure. If I wasn't going to apologize to this team, they would have been a great nominee for the teams that have surprised us so far in the first half of the year. That would be the Creekwood Redhawks. They are 4-1. Only lost to a really good Pearl Cone team. Beat some good teams along the way. I was a fool last week and picked against the Redhawks, and for that I apologize. And I will take you seriously the rest of the season.
I believe I will go next, and I'm going to take the other side of Dixon County in half of what's a 2-part apology, because there are 2 teams that I picked against last week that both beat previously unbeaten teams. Dixon County was one over Kirkwood. White House Heritage was the other one over Forest. When you're playing an unbeaten team and you've already lost a game, it's a little bit hard for me to pick. I just got to be honest about it. And both of y'all proved me wrong. So I'm just going to apologize to both fan bases at the same time, because you're equally as deserving. I was a fool. I was an idiot. I was whatever you want to call me, except a cheater. Despite what Joe Spears tells you, I try to be an honest man around here. So my honest apology goes to you, White House Heritage, Dixon County.
Honest. He says I'm an honest man. Fraud.
And now we clear the way for Mr. Scott Burton.
Well, Cam, he let you know that I do have some apologizing to do to Father Ryan. No tricks, no gimmicks, but I do want to talk to you in the language of your people. So here's my apology in Gaelic, and I will provide subtitles. Tá brún udorn. This is sadness on me. Guma le shale. Accept my apology, please. Tá fá wa urm. I regret it. I am a spammer. I am a gobshite. I am a feckin' Egypt. And I am so very sorry. I apologize.
What was the subtitle for the one part? Because it sounded like something else.
Yeah, I was a little.
Are we gonna get canceled?
I mean, I don't know. Hang on, I'm getting a text message.
That was pretty good.
No, okay, we're good. We're good. Standards was.
Father Ryan, folks watching on Instagram, said his apology accepted, Scott. So,
all right.
Now, in my really lousy Gaelic.
Speaking in different languages in this show, now we're gonna have to have subtitles all the time, I think. Oh, what did Isaac come up with this week?
Going nowhere, and you're taking me with you. You're just not any good at making picks.
I am good. And you know what? You got an ugly logo and your uniforms suck.
I'm sorry, Centennial. They're lovely uniforms. I'm sorry. Please don't go. I am not spending the rest of my life with a loser. I'm gone. Fine, beat it. Leave me alone. Who needs you? I'm sorry, Centennial. I didn't mean to yell. I just yell sometimes because I'm so afraid. Afraid of making the wrong picks. You're a great team with a championship caliber coach, and you could probably make it deeper in the playoffs this year. What do you say we just go back to how it used to be, huh? Hey, bro, I don't think Centennial wants to talk to you no more.
What will he think of next?
I was not expecting this.
Oh, it's not. Chris, I want to now. The man needs his own show. He needs his own sitcom.
We'll work on it.
Big Daddy reference on friggin' the show. Unbelievable.
We'll work on it. Oh my goodness. That was. I don't know which one's better.
That's how to lead them, guys.
Yep. All right. Those are our apologies for the week. We'll do this again next week, I'm sure, because we're probably going to miss some picks again. But let's show you a little bit what's coming up a little bit later on tonight.
We were trying to blend 4 or 5 different cultures into one, and I think right now, if you were to go into our locker room or you were to ask any teacher in our building, I think when we talk about what a Green Hill football player is, I think it is a overwhelmingly positive statement from a lot of people.
Him investing into Mount Juliet has really turned around into Mount Juliet investing into him.
All right, that's coming up right after we close this show out. Before we do, we've got to get to our picks for the week, so it's time for Who You Got. Okay, and the official word is yes, Cam, you are 2 games behind Joe.
Ooh, my name's Cam Reed. I said I was tied with Joe. Wrong. Get it right.
We'll see come the end of the week.
Get it right.
Also, congratulations to Isaac on getting his first Told You So, because
And Scott.
Well, Scott's had him before, but just the first one this year.
Congrats to the mayor of Columbia.
No. He may have picked them, but I picked Columbia to win the region. I am the mayor of Columbia.
Oh, decision 2024. Who's going to be the mayor of Columbia? Coming soon on 615 Preps. Okay, so
that 2-game deficit.
How it broke down last week, and there's the green mark for Isaac's Told You So with Columbia Academy over DCA. A little bit of red for our picks against for Father Ryan NBA game as well. But all in all, still a pretty good week. So let's get
Father Ryan with the biggest Told You So of the week.
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe the year so far.
Yeah.
Because they wiped us all out.
I mean, they won a game that they haven't won since before Isaac and KJ were born.
Yeah.
And Cam and I were 3.
I was a teenager.
And Chris was 72 and Scott was 106.
Hey, I'm not looking bad for a centenarian.
Probably 72 pounds at that point, yeah.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
I wasn't 96. I haven't been 96 probably since I was like 4.
All right, let's dive into the picks. Centennial goes to Nolensville, and key region game here for both teams. And everybody's on Centennial this week.
Yeah, I think they got a little bit of a wake-up call last week with Springfield. Again, another really close loss for Springfield that they had that game won. Centennial drives down at the end, gets the touchdown to win it. Meanwhile, Nolensville kind of got rolled by Franklin. Kind of shocked by how lopsided that one was. So I think Centennial's the 2 in this region behind Page. So to get that, they got to get this win, and I think they get the job done.
Yeah, I just used basic numbers on picking this game. Centennial lost to Franklin by 1. Franklin just beat Nolensville by 4 touchdowns. And Nolensville's shout out to Nolensville though. I mean, 3-2, and their 2 losses are to Franklin and Antioch. So tough competition. Should make that Nolensville team better towards the end of the year. But I like where Centennial's at the midway point.
Yeah,
you guys know I analyze defense a lot more. So I looked at their defensive stats. They haven't let allowed more than 13 points this season, or since the week 1 loss against Franklin. And you guys know defense wins championships. So I took Centennial this time around.
Yep. Defense definitely travels, especially in potential bad weather.
Yep.
I think this Nolensville team's going to be better in a month than they are right now, but they're still fairly young, and there'll be some more lumps to take for them. But I also like where the Centennial team's playing it right now. I think we look toward that Centennial Page game as really one of the better games of the second half of the season as well.
Yeah, and Joe mentioned escaping Springfield, but I don't know if that's necessarily escaping a bad team, because Springfield, we were also talking last week, Springfield's just a couple plays away from being 5-0.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Clarksville with Dixon County. Now we know that game is going to be played tomorrow night. Tyson's taking a shot at Dixon County.
Chris, I just want it to be known that Chris apologized to Dixon County and then picked him to lose by 20. He's a fraud, he's a fake, and he's a phony.
No, I didn't say I wouldn't pick against him.
No.
I said I was sorry.
Yeah, interesting.
You know who he's not sorry to?
Before too.
You know who he's not sorry to, Joe?
I never said I was not fake.
Yeah, he's not sorry to you at all.
No.
Cam, you're down by 4.
You got what you deserve, Northerner.
God, I hate you. Clarksville, I think Clarksville is just a little too Dixon County's playing really good football right now. This is the best Dixon County's played in, I think, some years. I think they really found their footing in this region. Clarksville is just the king of the region until somebody knocks them off, and I don't see Dixon County being the king.
Joe, hold up a second. You said a few minutes ago to not worry about these scores because of the weather coming in, and then you want to knock me for something I did 4 days ago? Can't have that.
What you talking about, Willis? I don't know.
Clarksville got
phony,
they've
fake.
God. Move on.
All right, before this thing gets off the rails, let's go ahead and go on to the next one, because we are going to speed it up just a little bit. Fairview and Creekwood.
The Yellow Jack's a little bit of a mystery, I think. They're a mystery wrapped inside of enigma, covered in secret sauce. I mean, it's they've sandwiched between 2 shutout wins against weaker teams. They lose to Richland, nearly put up 300 yards total rushing, but lost 3 fumbles. But I wonder how much of that is their offense just not the same without Jax McCoy in there. But boy, this Creekwood team is playing very, very well right now. So far the only loss has been to Pearl, and they've done everything that they've needed to do so far. So it's going to be a really good game. I just really like how Creekwood's playing so far.
This was a hard game for me to pick. Fairview's kind of a weird team right now. Lost some games I don't think they should have lost. Creekwood's looking really good, though. I mean, Pearl's just kind of a different level in 4A, and that region, it kind of looks like it's going to come down to Pearl and Marshall County. But Creekwood's playing great ball right now. The best ball they've played in the last couple of years. So, I think Creekwood squeaks one out. Maybe not this high scoring, though, especially if it's Friday.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot on Creekwood. Of course, they're a little bit of ways away from me, but Fairview with Trayvon Murray, with this weather could factor in and favor the Yellow Jackets in this matchup. But I think Creekwood, we've kind of been able to tell what to expect out of them in a certain way here, where Fairview, they've lost a couple games to teams we thought that they would beat. So I felt more comfortable picking Creekwood.
Yeah, just Fairview's a little bit inconsistent, and Creekwood, I think, is the hotter team right now, so that's kind of why I went with Red Hawks. FR8 East Nashville, Battle of Unbeatens. Joe, you're over there.
Yeah, I just think the uncertainty and maybe KJ Johnson's health in this one. It's hard. FRA last year kind of rolled in this matchup. I think FRA is still kind of a different level. Maybe I think this is a good test for East Nashville. It might be one of the really only few tests they get all year in the regular season. Going forward, I know Liberty Creek tested them, so did Pope. But FRA just kind of a different level right now, and they got a stud sophomore safety, linebacker, corner, kind of does it all. I'm excited to see him in person. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. If KJ is playing this game, I think it'll be a little closer. I don't think it'll be this high scoring though.
Yeah, I think what it ultimately comes down to, and I think you saw it last week. Really, you even saw it in a region game, which was kind of wild. But if KJ Johnson's even a question to go, he's not going to play. They don't have to win this game. They don't need to win this game, really. It has no factor on what they want to do this season. So if he's even questionable, I think Coach Harris will set him in this game. But I think that FRA has been the more impressive team so far.
My biggest question coming out of that the game last week against Liberty Creek was the defense allowing Liberty Creek to come back and allowing them so much yards. It didn't seem like the typical East Nashville defense. And going against FRA, who have not one but two really good backs, and it really seems like if it's not Mike Castle's week, it's Cam Glynn's week, and then the next week they switch off. So it's Mike Castle's week if they're on the same schedule. I expect him to run the ball really well.
Yeah, Cam's got it on the head. I mean, by KJ Johnson, if there's any question, hold him out. There's virtually no chance that this game means anything for playoff seeding. There's no shot that they finish in a three-way tie for first place. So
no, and they took that step towards first last week with the win over Liberty Creek. Yep. I mean, the next real test for them is Stratford at the end of the season, and Liberty Creek's just kind of cruised past Stratford.
That's all that's left for them now, because with the Republic forfeiting the rest of the season. So they're in very good shape there. Green Hill and Gallatin. Gallatin got a big bounce back last week, and Green Hill, second half, their defense really showed up.
I wish we would stop agreeing on everything, guys. It hurts my soul. This is a big region game. I mean, it's a big region game for Green Hill. I think last week they really showed them and Mount Juliet. They showed that they are the top two teams in this region with the way Mount Juliet beat up on Cookeville, and Green Hill cruised in the second half. So Gallatin rolled against a Warren County team they should have beat, and man, this could have a lot more points. I just don't know if Gallatin's defense can slow down Cannon Burrows.
Yep, you hit it on the head. I got the chance to watch this Gallatin team at Mount Juliet, and I thought Tyler Travers was able to run the ball effectively as a running quarterback. So I think Cannon could have a huge game. But I do think this Gallatin offense is going to put up some points. Rain or no rain, they're going to find a way to score some points. This is a trap game for Green Hill, in my opinion. But I like where the Hawks are at this point.
Hendersonville Beach. Just as KJ goes off camera.
KJ went dark. KJ went dark.
Why? That's why.
Why go commando when you can go buck naked?
I'm going to point out Isaac picked Hendersonville here.
I
had to point it out.
Wow. I thought Hendersonville was probably a better team last year with Mason Baker at quarterback, and Beach rolled him last year. I think Beach is better this year. I don't think I know they've played some close games. They have a better record at this point than they did last year. They're looking better each and every week.
Yeah.
This game's at Shackle Island. It's an impossible place to play at sometimes. I'm banned from there. Thanks, Scott. But no, I'm excited to see how this one pans out. Cam, I think you're going to get a good game. I think if it's old school football, I'll take the Bucks. I think that's what they do. They play old school football.
I'm going to have to jump on the team Chris now, because quite frankly, it seems to me that every time something crappy happens to you, you blame one of us.
Well, I saw Beach win in basketball. What'd you do?
I saw him win in basketball too.
No,
you
they
weren't
lost.
there.
Liar.
Nah, the Bucks defense, they're playing their best ball right now. They're keeping the offensive in games that, the offense is struggling in. So I think the defense will step up this week. It's at Shackle Island. I texted this week. I said, we don't lose at home. Defend the Shack. And I feel like that message really got to those guys. So they've had a tough week in practice. I've been reaching out to coaches. It looks like it's going to be a wet one, but it's going to be a Bucks win at the end of the night.
Now, of course, turf field there at Shackle Island, but slick conditions kind of negates a little bit on what Hendersonville wants to do with their speed with the Jordan twins. Give me the 6'4", 235-pound quarterback.
Yeah.
Talking about that quarterback.
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm sorry, Chris. It seems like Beach is trying to solidify who they are. They've only had 3 touchdown passes out of Powell, but he's second in the team in rushing, next to Shelton Swafford. This is a team that's being built to beat you up defensively and grind the ball offensively. And that's what we know they can do it. We know what happens in the rain. They were able to overcome a Riverdale team in that kind of weather. This team is built for that kind of weather. If this becomes a rainstorm game, then yes, all my chips are in on Beach.
Speaking of rainstorm games, part of the reason Beach has that turf field now is from an incident 7 years ago where a storm came in. They played on a Thursday night against Glencliff, and a monsoon hit, and that field never drained well. So you had basically ruts about this deep where players were making steps, and they won 64-0. And I was the unfortunate soul covering that game that night. Still the worst game I've ever covered to this day.
KJ, did you say teams don't go into Shackle Island and win?
Whoa, wait. We know last year they did, but if you check the stats from the 2019 season all the way until my senior year, we had never lost on Shackle Island.
I don't think I've ever covered. I have covered 1 win at Shackle Island. Maybe I am the problem.
Yes, you are.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I don't want to jinx it.
Joe
don't do it, Cam. Right now, you're the only one who is in good standing.
Well, hold on.
I'm good. I can pick against him all I want, and I'll always be okay.
I don't know. We have to ask Matt on that one.
We'll have to get Matt.
The only game I covered at Shackle Island that they won was the year after the Wade twins were gone. They beat some.
All right.
So you're the reason I don't have a ring. For sure.
Well, look. I want to talk about it.
Next up, another one of those games with an unbeaten team, Kirkwood and Rossview. Fans like Kirkwood, and so does Tyson, but the rest of us from the Hawks.
Yeah, defense. This Rossview defense is the real deal. We knew that last year. That's carried over to this year. Kirkwood had a season low, 14 points last week in a tough loss to Dixon County. I think it's a similar type game to that Dixon County game, and I just think Rossview's defense is a little too tough.
Yeah.
Really go ahead.
I think Kirkwood's taken steps forward. I think they could put up some points on Rossview, but the thing is Rossview is scoring points.
Yeah.
As the season progresses and the schedule gets harder, go ahead.
No,
it's not funny.
Nice.
Wanted to post that because you have been invited, so
I can't make promises. I can't.
Yeah. But Kirkwood's defense has been pretty good. They've been giving up only average 6 points per game. They pitched 2 shutouts, and they put up 200 more yards passing every single game. But that plays right into Rossview. Rossview is a team that's got 9 picks on the season already. Okay, they've got 2 fumble recoveries. they used to be a grind team that relied on their defense. This year, their average is 34 points a game and 221 yards rushing. Um, they got a terrific running back in Chris Johnson. Reed Bryant is a great pass run threat. I just think that Rossview is probably a more complete team at this stage than Kirkwood is. Um, I think it's going to be a good game, but yeah, Rossview, I think they're going to win this one.
Liberty Creek and Westmoreland is an interesting one. Liberty Creek played East Nashville very tough last week. Westmoreland, 4-1. We've talked about them, Cam, and why don't you go ahead and talk this one up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to come down to we talk about if it stays on Friday night. They're not on turf at the rock pile. This is going to the field has a tendency to get muddy even when it doesn't rain, if you know what I'm saying. So this one's going to be a mud fest if it's played on Friday night. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be looks like a 1960s football game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. The first one to score may win. That may be what's going to happen here. But it's going to be physical smash mouth football. Both teams with a really good running back, Cooper White for Westmoreland. Not your typical running back. He's about 6'3", about 215 pounds. And then Liberty Creek with Mac Tuggle having a great year out of that smokestack eye that they've transferred to this year. So this one's going to be physical, man.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, well, I was going to say is that smokestack offense seems to have befuddled a lot of the defenses that they've gone against. But if there's one defense that I think can really handle it, it is that defensive line at Westmoreland. They have really quick linebackers, and their safeties come up and plug gaps really, really well. I think this was going to be a slugfest, regardless. I think even more so now.
Yeah. Like I was gonna say, I hate picking against Coach Bill Alexander. Played for him. He's a great offensive and defensive mastermind, but Liberty Creek has struggled since losing Rager last year, and it's shown early on in the season. And also, every time I pick against Westmoreland, I end up wrong, so I'm not going to do that this week.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a good lesson to learn. I learned that the hard way, too.
And then they pointed at a blank scoreboard. I just kid. I like Westmoreland.
Portland at Springfield tomorrow night. Joe, I think you're tentatively going to be up there for that one now.
Yeah. I mean, if I go up there, which, anything can happen. If I get a game closer to home, I'll go to that one. This one's a little bit of a drive for me. But yeah, no, this should be a really fun game. Springfield, again, they are, I think, they're 2-3, are they not?
So,
that should be 2-3.
Yes, they lost 10-3 to Clarksville, 23-22 to Henry County, 7-3 to Centennial.
Yeah. So they're that close to being undefeated right now. Portland played a really good Clay County team last week and came away with the win. Honestly, I might go to this game because it's going to be old school football. They're just going to be running the ball up and down we're going to be running the ball up and down the field, and I'm all for it. I think Springfield is a much better team than they were last year, so I'll take the Yellow Jackets.
I think Springfield's just a little bit more explosive. With them playing tomorrow night, should hopefully get, if not drier conditions anyway, than Friday night. So I just think that speed kills, and I think Springfield's got a little bit more.
Yeah, Jaden Hurst is just a nightmare trying to. I mean, it's like really trying to catch a chicken or a greased pig. And imagine if it's wet out there trying to keep up with somebody that's making jump cuts like that. Cameron Cobbins, great hands, speed receiver. They'll have to get the ball into his hands a different way if it's raining like that. But their defense is really playing extremely well. If Portland's going to win this game, they cannot afford to turn the football over. and they have done that in the past. They've got to find a way to turn Springfield over and capitalize to win this game.
And one more to talk about here with our spotlight game. Stewart's Creek and Antioch compare 401 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this many points will be scored, but I mean, you know, if it's dry, yeah, sure, why not? Give me, oh God, this one was hard to pick. Admittedly, I've seen Antioch. I haven't seen Stewart's Creek yet. I know how good this Antioch offense is. I think a lot of points are going to be scored. You know, even if it's wet, I could see the quarterbacks running all over the field. I mean, this is a de facto region championship. I know Smyrna's right there. But yeah, give me the Bears. I think this is a huge win for them.
Stewart's Creek has, and I notice I'm the only one who's on the Stewart's Creek bandwagon here. They have one of the best screen games in the state. They do a really good job running the ball. Jeremy Smith, he's got moves on moves. Javon Elliott, really good passer. The thing that worries me, concerns me about Antioch is that, just when we thought they'd shut down Cane Ridge, they give up 30 to McGavick. I just don't know about their defense. And if Stewart's Creek can manage to hang on to the ball and not make mistakes and grind it out, they could keep the ball out of Antioch's offensive hands.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Antioch this year just about every week. Defensively, it's been a roller coaster, but they did hold Cane Ridge 0. Stewart's Creek had a hard time with Cane Ridge defensively. So, that game in itself kind of steered me away from picking Stewart's Creek. I think Antioch's got the more consistent offense, and defensively, which defense are you going to get? If Antioch's A+ defense shows up, then Antioch's going to win this game.
Yeah, tough one to pick. I think the best player on the field is Andre Adams right now, but the way these weather conditions could change a lot of things, this could go sideways in a hurry for either team. It'll be a fun one, but it could be very, very challenging if it does get rainy and windy like we think it might. All right, so that's it for our picks, but we're not quite done. We got one more pick to show you because Reggie's Rescue Pick of the Week presented by the Humane Society of Sumner County. And we're on a roll. Two straight wins for Mason and King Tut. So, our special guest get us to 500.
All right, so this is Bruno. Bruno is a Husky Basset Pit Mix, mostly Husky. He was found by someone in their backyard. Turned out it was the neighbor's dog. Neighbor didn't want him anymore, so we brought him in and got him fixed up. And he has been heartworm tested, had his rabies shot, all his boosters, and he is neutered. He's a very good boy. He really likes other dogs. He is very active, like most Huskies are. He's just a little one, but he is very active and needs another dog to play with or children to play with. He has had seizures prior. We never saw any here. One doctor took him home and said she saw them, but we still didn't see them again after she returned him. So seizures are possible, but we haven't seen any. If he stays happy, healthy, calm, I don't think he'll have them, but we're not really sure what can trigger them. But we have not seen them at all. So he is a very good boy, though. Can you sit? Do you know sit? Sit. 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 There you go. Good boy. He's very sweet, does great with kids, dogs, everything. He's just an all-around good boy. Yeah? See, that's about it, though. Oh, and we're 4 years old. We're have a birthday on him, so he is 4 years old and just a happy, healthy dude ready to go to a good home. Ready? Ready? Go get him. Go, pick one.
Oh, you went with Stewart's Creek. Now he's standing over it. He went with the Eagles. Or not the Eagles, Red Hawks.
You like birds, huh,
Likes
buddy?
Birds.
right, so he's going to try to make it 3 for 3 going with Stewart's Creek this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna need somebody to adopt that dog. Like, I don't think you guys understand. I got like this one behind me. She's blurry because I have the blur filter on. He's the exact same size as her, and please adopt him, please.
I was going to say, if anybody knows any tricks out there, I would love for my husky to go back to that size.
Dude, I walked in and I saw him, and I was like, "Who's that?" Because we hadn't picked out what animals we were going to use, and she's like, "Oh, that's Bruno. Do you want to see him?" I was like, "Yes, yes. Can he make the pick, please? Please adopt him, please." Because like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been begging my girlfriend since last weekend. I'm like, "Hey, hear me out," and she's like, "You don't have room." So please, someone adopt him. Adopt all those animals, but in Bruno's case, please, for my sake.
Yeah, yeah, and I can attest to it because I talked to Joe right after, and he was sending me pictures, and he really was about to. I was afraid you were going to walk out with him.
I was too. He's a good boy.
That's about all the damage we can do for a show like this.
I think you're underestimating the damage we can do.
Well, maybe. We'll see. There is a hurricane coming, so, we'll see.
God, I wish I could have done a Hurricane Helmsley thing tonight. Dang.
Well, let's last word before we get out of here.
Stay dry, stay safe, and more importantly, Chris is a fraud. He's a phony. He's cheated. Just though I should be tied with it or down by 1. I did get the game wrong. I didn't pick Maplewood. That's on me. I'm an idiot. But he's a fraud. This is on him. He's trying to cheat me out of my title. It's not my fault.
Should have muted him sooner.
It's the best time of the season, so enjoy a game. Let's be for real. The Bucks will go in Friday night. They will win at home versus the other school. I don't even know what they're called. That's all I got for you guys. Go Bucks.
KJ doesn't even know the letter H.
Go back to Sesame Street.
Yeah. Stay dry. I mean, it's going to be wet. It's going to be nasty. As long as there's no lightning, it's going to be fun, though. It's going to be football at its purest. Kids out there slipping and sliding and having fun, hopefully not getting injured. But be sure to tune in after the show for episode 3 of Climbing the Hill on our YouTube page. And again, midway point of the season, but we're still needing a sponsor for our Player of the Year awards. We need that ASAP. So if you or anybody you know runs a small, big, large, medium, upstart business, please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to work with you to accommodate that business.
Yep. Can't say any better than that.
Yep. Hey, get a group of people together and sponsor it, and it doesn't have to be a business. If you've got your local trivia team out there and you want to advertise them, go ahead. Now, really, be careful this week. Pay attention to the weather. Be safe. And I'm saying this to my guys, but to you folks also. Yeah, you hear me talk every week about sponsors. I'm going to ask you to do something a little differently this week. Tell your friends about us. Tell your families about us. Get people to like and subscribe. We need those numbers getting up. The more those numbers get up, the more views we have, the more opportunities we have to bring you even more coverage. Climb the Hill is something great we've done. Love to Hate series, another great thing that we've been able to do, but we need to be able to get the equipment and do the things we need to do to provide even better coverage for you.
I must ignore what Joe said. There's no fraud here. Anyway. Yeah, stay dry. Actually, you know what? Don't stay dry. Get wet. Hell, enjoy it. I mean, It's fun. Rain's fun. Just don't do anything stupid. You know?
Pause.
Go. No, seriously, in all seriousness, this is the best part of my week. Love doing the show with these guys. It's a lot of fun. We joke around and act like we're mad at each other, but nobody's mad here. And we're thankful that you are all a part of this journey we're on right now. It's really fun to do this. It's really good that we're able to connect with you and you connect with us like we do. And we love it, every bit of it. Keep it coming. So that's all I got. And that's all we've got for 615 Preps Live for week number 6. Saturday morning, maybe. We'll see. If some things get moved around, the scoreboard show could move to Sunday, but we'll let you know. So,
Climbing the Hill out now. Go watch it. Chris busted his butt on this episode. We're focusing on Green Hill main man himself, Josh Crouch. Really good episode, honestly. A little different than what we've been doing. So go give it a watch.
Also, check out our deep dive tomorrow, 2 p.m., where we will spotlight a player or two. A sophomore for the first time. So just a little clue for that. 2 o'clock tomorrow on our YouTube page. We'll have that out for you as well. All of us here at 615 Preps have a great rest of the week. Stay dry or wet. Doesn't matter. KJ, what happened here?
I have no idea, but go Bucks.
Was it your birthday or something?
Hold down. Go Irish.
All right.
Okay, Jay, it's your.
We had balloons to send you off. Y'all have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you Saturday morning.